Metalheads, welcome to Graphic Metal, where metal is celebrated with design in mind. This is one of a 9-part series in which I give you my favorite albums in the year 2023, with this specific episode focusing on doom metal. More specifically, anything within the realm of doom, stoner, psychedelic, and sludge, rock or metal. To be crystal clear, this is a personal preference list for educational and entertainment purposes, with the intent of celebrating these amazing bands and the rock and metal community as a whole. If you end up liking any of them, please find a way to support them. And if you choose to comment, please respect me, each other, and the bands. The rating system in which I use to evaluate these albums is based on the music, the production, and the concept. Each of the metrics are measured, tallied up, and given an overall score, the graphic metal score, if you will. It is also worth mentioning that these are albums, not songs, albums. So, with that, let's get to it, shall we? Number 10, Precipice by Veilcast. A graphic metal rating, 84. Ancient spirits of evil, transform this decaic form into Mumra, the ever-living. Yeah. I had to. John, the singer of this band, he has a very particular technique in which he uses that just, I don't know what it is, but it really reminds me of Mumra. From, in case you were wondering, it's a character from the 80s TV show. And I think of this as like the ever-living soundtrack. And again, this is not a knock on it. I love it, and it definitely makes it stand out. But yeah, apparently Indianapolis has kind of a scene brewing here. This is not the first. This is a few now bands that have made the list from Indiana or even Indianapolis specifically. So I'm very curious what's going on. I mean, I definitely want to learn more. But nonetheless, it's a little rough around the edges. Don't get me wrong, but it's far from perfect. But it had enough riffs and transitions and just overall like vocal intrigue that just kept me engaged. Number 9, Silence by the Raging Sea by Oculate Hand Order, a graphic metal rating of 85. First things first, badass album cover. Easily in the running for album cover of the year. Take the psychedelic rock scene from the early 70s. Now, add downtuning and an emphasis on metallic riffs, and that's what you got here. This is an album you come to for its crushing yet off-kilter soundscapes. They do not follow the typical rhythmic patterns here. They deeply care about the feeling and the imaginative scenes, visions that their soundscapes capture your mind and wander you to. It's a debut album from this trio who they might wish they're from the early 70s, but we're sure glad to have him here now today. For fans of the band Resin, who also had a pretty solid album this year as well. Number 8, Super Skull by Black Rainbows, a graphic metal rating of 85. From the early 70s to the mid 90s we go. This Italian band, who has been around for actually a wee little bit, would fit nicely with bands like Corrosion of Conformity, Monsters Magnet, and Fumachu. And since I always enjoyed that scene, I found this one also in heavy rotation. The next time that you're on a road trip in the desert, crack open that beer and tune this one in, and it sure will keep you fuzzing. And kudos for the killer band name. It's wicked cool. Number 7, A Pound for the Peacebringer by Spider Kitten. Graphic metal rating of 86. From one wicked cool band name to another, Spider Kitten. Damn, that's clever. The druid is fluid. I have no clue what that means, but this was an album that had an amazing conceptual framework. And by that, I mean they fused your typical long doom metal songs with a few simple, short, and peaceful songs, which as a collective unit really made the overall album feel very satisfying to listen to. 3 of the tracks, Safe to Drown, God's Song, and the Fluid Druid, were 3 songs that I found myself listening to a lot all year round. And the first track, which is ultimately a bulk of the overall length, is not far off. So this was in many ways the very close to perfection album. A band from Wales, UK that actually appeared to be around for a while. But this was the first time I've heard about them, and now I definitely need to check them out more. Number 6, Weary Traveler by Fairy Ring, a graphic metal rating of 86. Okay, not Indianapolis, but these guys are from Evanston, Indiana. So what the hell is going on over there? Are you all just like meeting up at parties? I mean, seriously, I want to join. But second album for this band, and what an album it is. Don't let that album cover fool you, or their clear love for new wave of British heavy metal. These guys are 100% stone cold stoner doom at their core, and they can surely riff. I love the eerie soundscapes. Heck, they even throw in some cheesy 80s sound effects just to push that envelope even further. And their willingness to just jam through transition after transition, a la like the Legends Black Sabbath. Definitely a jam band. Heck, they're probably jamming in their sleep. And because of that, I'll throw in some other bands that, in a more obscure light, that they're similar to. Earthless, Restless Spirit, who we'll hear about in a little bit later. And one more, Green Hog Band. Lots of glowing remarks, but can't leave without saying that the one thing that holds this back is, unfortunately, the vocals. They are not the best. I'm sorry, man. Just being honest. But thank God for the riffs. Making Sabbath proud. Number 5, Snake Mother by Snake Mother. Graphic metal rating of 85. This year's list, it definitely comes with some killer band names. And we're just getting started because there's more coming. Debut for a band via San Francisco. It's rough around the edges for sure. At times, it even makes you think it's an EP. But they definitely have something here. This is your sinister witchcraft cult group that meet up at night to burn demons. Once they tighten up their delivery and their production, this will be a tough band to keep down. I particularly love when they all chip in vocally for their group chants. It just oozes darkness. And they already have a knack for song structure. I cannot wait for what is next for the band. There's a particular band actually that it starts with an A that's just, it's not coming to me, that it really reminds me of. But another one I'll throw at you is Mesa. Number 4, After the Fall by Thunderhorse. Graphic metal rating of 89. They're not going to win any lyrical awards. And I will admit, at times, it can get a tad repetitive. But they make up for it and then some with their delivery. The production on this one is about as good as it gets. Raw and unhinged, yet powerful with a purpose. The drums sound godly. The bass is crushing. And the guitars are pure and full of color. Just a rock solid band across the board. What I think is interesting about the band and this album is that you can hear some other influences like traditional heavy metal, punk, and even hardcore. And bonus points for even throwing in a softie, which, as you heard me say earlier, I love it when bands do this. It's almost like a palate cleanser. If I really try to pinpoint, it's like a cross between Down and Celtic Frost. Number 3, Margarita Witch Cult by Margarita Witch Cult. Graphic metal rating of 90. Yet another wicked name. Debut and hail from none other than the home of metal, Birmingham, England. So they got roots on their side. Already off to a great start when it comes to branding. Another cover design candidate of the year, and they even choose some cool stage names. Jim Thing, George Casual, and Screamin' Scott Vincent. They all sing, well produced, and, well, no surprise, rooted with talent. Wouldn't be surprised if they started grabbing attention on their sophomore release, and I can't wait for it. A band they feel most similar to is Orange Goblin, along with Black Rainbows, which you heard them being number 8 on this list. Number 2, Thrones by Death Chant. Graphic metal rating, 90. Finds its way this high on the list due to its incredible melodic guitar work and overall unique vibe. It just has this trance over you that makes it feel a little bit different, even though it's really easy to describe them. Take any doom metal band, add either Maiden or Thin Lizzy, and tap Lemmy or Danzig as the vocalist. When you listen to it, you will instantly understand what I mean. Despite how clear it is, well, either that, or I'm just hypnotized by the insatiable guitar work and just the chemistry they have. I mean, to be that in sync, you would assume that they're like clones or something. From LA, disc number 3, but other than that, I can't find much else on this band. All right. We're on to number 1. Hold on. Let's give some honorable mentions first. Cosmic Chronicles, Act 1, The Ascension, by They Watch Us from the Moon. Graphic metal rating of 84. Sci-fi doom. Great combination, right? Also, throw in a little Devin Townsend into the mix. It was tough to leave this one off the list because of how cool the vibe was, but it doesn't always hit on all cylinders. Nonetheless, their debut is definitely worth a listen. They're from Lawrence, Kansas, and I think it's safe to say even Dorothy would be proud. Glass Future by Howling Giant. Graphic metal rating of 84. Could easily have had this one in top 10. Probably should have. But with Margarita Witch Cult and Black Rainbows already in the top 10, not saying that this album is the same, but there's some similarities where I just didn't want to have all 3 within the top 10. There's a particular band that it reminds me of, and that is Dawnbringer, a band that I freaking loved that unexpectedly disappeared. So I like these guys who are coming from Nashville, Tennessee. I liked it a lot because it really kind of filled that void. Full Circle by Dead Feathers. Graphic metal rating 85. Janis Joplin reincarnated. I came across it too late to consider in my top 10, but it was difficult to hold this one off. Marissa can sing. Heck, probably the best singer on this entire list. If you miss the fuzzy psychedelic rock of the 70s, you need to check this one out. Band from Chicago, Illinois. And you know what? Listening to it again here just now in preparation for this, fuck it. Let's get messy. It's my list after all, right? So I'm gonna mix things up. I'm gonna move things. I'm gonna shift some things around. Gonna change. This one goes from a Grafikmetal rating of 85 to an 89, and I'm gonna slot it to number 4. So Thunderhorse. Congratulations, you now have a sister. Welcome, Dead Feathers. You sold me. After Image by Restless Spirit. Grafikmetal rating of 87. From one album I just added into the top 10 to an album that would be there too if it wasn't for me being, well, stubborn and decided to keep it off due to the fact that this was a band that I praised. I praised them back-to-back albums. Made both of them in 2019 and 21, with the latter actually grabbing the number 1 spot. So I've talked a lot in great depth about this band. This one, however, I have to admit, After Image was a little bit of a letdown. Just being honest, something didn't feel quite right compared to the last two legendary albums, but still really good. But enough. Let's get to it, shall we? Number 1 doom metal album of 2023. Number 1, Beholden by Harris. Grafikmetal rating of 91. The storm is coming and brings all of Mother Nature's beasts with it. Leave the World Behind, the film on Netflix. Any of you catch it? How that story uses the deer to symbolically represent both friend and foe is exactly the feeling this album portrays. Half the time, it's innocent. Picture yourself walking the forest alone, and then you come across a cute deer. Fills you with so much joy seeing that majestic creature, and it also brings peace knowing that you're not alone. But then that one deer becomes hundreds, and they're all staring right at you. Not be fooled by that cute deer. Yes, the album sounds incredibly beautiful in moments, but it will turn on you. When it does, it comes for you with all the weight of Mother Nature at its back. These guys and gal from New York, can crush it with the best of them. Just their first album. So I eagerly await what they have in the coming years. And already, their chemistry, skill, and the conceptual song structure that they possess, it's really, really good. To give an example of its might, the 10-minute mark, heck, the entire track lie to the angels, but that 10-minute mark at the climax, it's probably the heaviest moment of music I have listened to all year round. That build-up transition was like the double bass mixed with the screeching dime bag like riff. It's beautiful. I mean, Gojira also would have been proud. This album is a grower in the same way as, say, like Tool is. It starts in one place and it transitions and it builds and it builds and it grows into something else. And if you have patient ears, you will not only like the beginning and the end, but you're also going to love the journey along the way. Only nitpick is that the production is obviously, it's raw. You know, it's okay, but it is raw. And whereas Beth's vocals have their moments, and you can hear her potential, they do need to get a little bit stronger to be able to hold up to clearly their ambitious musical interests. It is nice to also see them all chip in vocally because it definitely creates a nice dynamic range. Overall, I was captured by its scale, willingness to balance the soft and the heavy, and their overall potential. It's Bellacore meets Tool. This is what brings them together. It's what unites it, and I love it. And that was the list. Now you got 8 more to go. Episodes representing each of the different subgenres. Check them out. The links to them and to this one, along with the playlist for Spotify, will be in the description below. Soon, I will be releasing my all-new created designs to pay tribute to each of these albums and bands. So keep a lookout for them as well. Until the next time, keep on rocking. Cheers.